You weren't taught how to build wealth. You were taught to earn a paycheck. And there's a big difference. Stay with me because today I'm going to talk about some timeless principles about money that completely change the way I think about wealth. These aren't just financial lessons, these are mindset shifts that can help you stop surviving and start creating the freedom. We all know that we need to get financially literate, and those are down into the nitty gritty and into the specifics. However, again, I'm just going to talk about some principles. And right now, we're going to get into it. My name is Mark, aka Create Lifestyle, and I help people break out of the matrix so that they can experience freedom, abundance, peace of mind, and leave a powerful legacy while earning some residual income. And I'm speaking specifically to people over 50 years old. However, if you're under 50, you can certainly glean some insights here and perhaps shave decades off of your evolution and the achievements of your goals. The first thing we have to understand is we have to stop selling time. Most people spend their lives selling hours. I've been guilty of this. If you go to work and you get an hourly paycheck, you're exchanging your hours for dollars. But time, it has limits. Wealthiest people, they don't get paid for their time. They get paid for the value that they bring to the table. So ask yourself, how can I solve some bigger problems instead of simply working for more hours? And I came out of a household with that's what my parents did. My dad, he was a military veteran, and he got his paycheck at the end of the month. And that was it. Life was good in his mind. My mom, she worked at the post office for many years and retired from there. And when she wanted more money, she would just work more overtime. But you could only work so much time. Now, understand that money follows value. I just want to say right here that I'm working with various coaches teaching me about the law of attraction that I'm sharing with you, and teaching about residual income and finances that I am sharing with you as well. And my mentors are multimillionaires. So I'm sharing information with you that they've been sharing with me, and I'm gradually breaking out of this matrix, and together we can get out of this thing together. And I just want to point out also that the matrix, I talk about breaking out of it, but actually it's a little bit more deeper than that because it's a game. And I'm kind of switching my thoughts regarding this to mastering the matrix because it is a game and we have to learn how to play the game. You're unable to play the game if you don't know the rules. And that's what these universal laws are. These universal laws are the rules of the game. And this money, it follows these rules as well. So money, it follows value. Your income is often a reflection of the problems that you solve. The bigger the problems, the greater the value, the greater the opportunity. So understand that we have to solve problems and bring some value to the table. That's where we can begin to create some wealth. So understand also that you have to protect your focus. Your attention is one of your greatest assets. And today we're in the attention economy. You jump on social media and you're looking at me right now, but everybody's competing for your attention. And certain channels, the longer you have a person stay on the channel, that's how those creators monetize, because they get paid from the platform. But I'm not looking to get paid from the platform. I'm looking to bring some value out into the marketplace and really help people break out of this thing that I call the matrix, or as I mentioned, play the game right and master the matrix. So understand that your attention, as I mentioned, is one of your greatest assets. If it's constantly consumed by negativity, news, that's information coming from the north, the east, the west, and the south, drama and distraction, you're investing in somebody else's priorities instead of in your own future. So be careful with that. Also understand that your identity is what creates your income. This is where I believe that most people get stuck, and this is where I was stuck for a very long time, because your income catches up with your identity. If you believe you're worth more, you'll ask for more, you'll create more, you'll expect more. And that's why your subconscious programming matters so much. So we have to get in here in our minds. We have to watch our thoughts going on in our minds. And that's where the battle is. There's a book out there called The Battlefield of the Mind, and that's what they're talking about. I caught myself one time some time ago, and I make it a point to watch my thoughts, and every so often something will jump out at me that I'm thinking, and I catch it, and I say to myself, that is incorrect. I caught myself saying, I have difficulty asking people for money. And I caught that. And if you're in sales, that's part of the game. You have to ask people for money. Okay? You have to. So just watch your thoughts and change that programming. The next thing is invest in yourself. One of the greatest investments is not the stock market, it's not real estate, it's not crypto. And those are all good. But the greatest investment is you investing in yourself. Invest in your skills. Invest in your knowledge. Invest in your character. Invest in your relationships. Nobody can take those away from you. I had a very successful friend, and he was lamenting about his relationship to a degree. He was married for quite some time. And he said, Mark, if I had to leave my wife, I would just give her everything. He was a multi-millionaire. He made a lot of money in oil business way back in the day. But anyway, he said, Mark, if I had to leave my wife or whatever, I wouldn't be going to no court. I would just give her everything. She could have it all. He said, you know why? And I said, why is that? And he said, because I can go out and I can make it all over again. And I sat with that for some time. And I was like, gosh, you just go make it all over again. And it's because he has the knowledge, the skills, and the relationships. And so those are the things we have to invest in, and nobody can take those away from you. So ladies out there, if your husband was a multimillionaire and the relationship was over and he left you everything, would you be all right with that? You probably would get over it at some point. Anyway, the next thing is that speed matters. Perfection delays progress. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates the confidence. Confidence creates the opportunity. The perfect plan today is worth less than an imperfect action today. And I was guilty of this for a long time. Planning, thinking, writing, drawing up plans, but taking no action. So you have to move. You've got to take some action. An imperfect action is better than the perfect plan. So understand that. Another mentor of mine, he says that conscious thought times action equals manifestation. Got to make some moves. Next thing is to build some assets. If your income stops the moment you stop working, you don't own freedom, you own another job. So begin building systems. Begin creating this residual income. Begin to build that business and the asset that continues producing value even when you're not actively working. That's the real leverage, and that's what we're putting together here. So if I'm making any sense so far, share, comment, subscribe, check the links around my bio. Understand that this is why I call it the Matrix. And again, it's a game, and we're going to learn how to master it. When you trade time for money, that's what they want you to do. When you're staying busy instead of productive, that's what it wants you to do. When you're consuming instead of creating, you're falling in their trap. React instead of think. Chase security instead of freedom. These are all the things that the Matrix loves us to do, because you're trapped inside of a system and you're being controlled. I've been guilty of this, and I want to break out. I am breaking out. I'm getting out. You coming with me? So how much money can you make is what the Matrix wants you to ask. Instead, ask yourself, what kind of person do I need to become? So in closing, The takeaway is money doesn't begin in your wallet, it begins in your mind. Change your belief, change your habits, change your identity, and eventually your financial reality begins to change. Remember, you don't attract wealth because you want it, you attract wealth because you become the person who can create it. Like I always say, the only way out is in peace, one love, and control your destiny.